Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Caitlin. I'm a speech and language therapist, so I was just going to answer some common questions I get as a speech and language therapist who works in learning disabilities. So I'm going to spill the tea today. So a common question I get is, so I'm going to answer that one first, is British Sign Language universal like everywhere, or is it the same as Makaton? So no. British Sign Language is a language in its own right with variations across the country, so it can actually be different between different regions, and it's based on their own cultural and linguistic significance of it. And also British Sign Language is not universal all over the world. For example, in Australia they have Auslan, which is Australian Sign Language, and New Zealand they have New Zealand Sign Language, which also takes some of its signs from Maori culture there. And also in America they have American Sign Language, so ASL. For example, that is I love you in American Sign Language, and that's not the same in British Sign Language. And it also has its own grammatical structure that develops over hundreds of years, and they're forever changing the signs based on new things and new words, like typical language. So, for example, if I was going to sign my name in British Sign Language, it would be this, and I would not speak the same as I would with Makaton, so it'd be... So that translated into kind of English is name what me. Caitlin. So it's very different, and a good example of this is in British Sign Language. This is designed for sugar, the same as Makaton, and that was based on when the deaf community used to work in sugar mills and used to get dermatitis, to have itchy skin. So that's where that came from. And also another sign is, isn't British Sign Language the same as Makaton? No, it is very similar, because Makaton was created in the 70s and 80s, and it was developed from British Sign Language signs, and it was developed over a number of years and working with the deaf community for people, and it's a language program, so it has signs and symbols, and it should always be used alongside speech. So for example, yes, it should always be used alongside speech, and that's similar for another signing system which is similar to Makaton called Signalong. So the main differences I can find between them, and they're used for people with learning disability and communication difficulties to help develop speech. It's just a language system. So for example, they have signs and symbols. So in Makaton, to drink is to drink, and that's also cup. But in Signalong, which was developed in 1992, is another system. So for cup, that'd be cup, and also to drink would be that. So they have a different word for each sign, unlike Makaton where they have similar signs for similar things, and it's based on context. So I'll just say, if you're working with somebody with a learning disability, use whatever signing system they're using, because just because they've got a learning disability does not mean they don't know British Sign Language. That's usually used within the deaf and hearing impairment and community. So that doesn't mean somebody who's got a learning disability isn't also deaf and part of the deaf community. But commonly, Makaton is used because that's been created from the 1970s and 80s and is quite prevalent. And Signalong is now a new system which has been used since the 90s. So just use whatever the person with the learning disability is most comfortable with using. So I wouldn't say one is better than the other, it's just individual preference. So hopefully that's been a bit informative and I'll get less questions. But thank you very much, everyone. Keep signing, and thank you. Have a good day, and hope you guys have a good and a very happy LD week. So thank you.